Hey there, this is LaQuita with QuitaBugHandmades.com. I'm so excited that you are here with me today for another Stampin' Up! Project. Today's project is really fun. It is a 3D project and it is super useful in your craft rooms. I'm excited to share it with you, and it features the Sunburst Sayings stamp set. This is actually from our annual catalog. I had kind of forgotten about the stamp set, but it was perfect for today's project. So I think you're going to enjoy this project, so let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, so I don't know if you guys are like me, but in my craft room, on my craft desk where I work, I kind of had this mess of stuff that I use most often, and I just couldn't figure out the right way to store it so that it made sense for when I needed to reach and grab it, and organized it on my desk. So I looked for containers. I've tried different drawers and bins that I have on my desk, and it just doesn't work for me to have these things in a drawer because it doesn't make sense for me to pull it out and then I never remember which drawer it's in. So it just wasn't working for me. So I decided I needed to make my own container that made sense for me. And that's where today's project was inspired. Look at this cute little box. Isn't it so cute? So this is an unlidded box, and it was made and designed specifically to fit these supplies on my desk, and I love it. So let me show you how perfectly all of these items fit. So this is my Stampin' mist. I'm just gonna put that over here. I've got my fine tip glue, which I use a lot, my liquid glue, my Tombow mono glue, my Terran tape, dimensionals, an extra little sheet of those, my bone folder, my paper snips, my scoring tool, and my piercing tool, and voila. Everything fits perfectly in my little storage box, and I keep it right over here above a little 3-drawer container that I have, and I keep it right on top, and it has worked so perfectly for me. I know where all of these things are. I can just reach in and grab what I need, and I'm putting it right back. Love it. So let me show you just how easy it is to create this open box. Okay, so I really love gold, which is why I chose the gold embossed specialty paper at the back of the Pop of Pink Designer Series paper. And plus the specialty paper is a little bit thicker, and I wanted something kind of thick for my box. So you're gonna need to cut down an 8x8 piece of cardstock. Alright, so next I'm going to bring in my Stampin' trimmer. I love this tool. I think it's brilliant. I love that it comes with both a scoring and a cutting blade. So we are going to put our designer paper in here, and like I said, there are 2 blades. So the dark colored blade, that's your cutting blade. Go ahead and move that one out of the way. We're using the light colored blade, which is for scoring. So I'm going to go ahead and slide my paper to the 2-inch mark right here, and I'm going to score it at 2 inches. I'm just going to go across a couple of times since this is thicker. Then I'm going to slide down to 6 inches and score again. Okay, so now you've got score lines on the left and the right side. Now I'm going to rotate this direction, and we're going to add some score lines across the middle. So we're going to score at 3 inches, and then we're going to score again at 5 inches. Okay, and now we've got something that looks like this. So hopefully you can see those score lines. Alrighty, so now I'm going to take my bone folder. Yes, I took it out of my little storage container, and I'm just going to crease all of my score lines. This is just going to help reinforce my sides and the bottom of our box. Okay, there we go. Then I'm going to take my paper snips, and I'm just going to cut up these center score lines. So I'm going to cut up until I reach the 2-inch line on both sides. Just like that. Okay, so now we've got 3 loose flaps here. Okay, now I'm going to rotate around and do the same thing on this side. Okay, so now we can start assembling the box. So I'm just gonna flip it over and I'm gonna add adhesive to these 4 bottom tabs. I'm gonna leave these 2 top tabs with no adhesive. So just these 4 down here. And you wanna use a strong adhesive. I'm gonna use Fast Fuse. You could also use tear and tape. So I'm just going to add my adhesive on. And I'm being quite generous. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing for these 2 bottom tabs. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these middle tabs inside of the bottom tab flap. So I'm just going to fold these in just like this. Okay, line it up, fold it in. Okay, just like that. Let me do this one. So we're folding it into the flap that has the adhesive on it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now you've got adhesive on these 2 flaps, and we're going to fold that last flap on top of that. And that's going to seal everything up. Okay, just like that. And so now the sides of this box are super reinforced since we've got 3 tabs. They are super reinforced, which is nice. It makes the box feel very sturdy. Okay, so there you go. So this actually becomes the front of the box because you've got these seam lines here, and you really don't want these seams to be at the front of your box. So I'm going to put those at the back, and there we go. Look at that. Such an easy box. All right, so now we're going to do some stamping. So I've got a scratch piece of Whisper White cardstock here. I'm going to bring in my basic black archival ink, and I'm going to stamp the word shine from that Sunburst Sayings stamp set. So when you're working with the archival basic black, you want to twist, twist, tap, tap, because this has a fabric top, and to get the best coverage of ink, you want to use that technique. So I'm just going to stamp right here in the center, right about there. Lift up. That is perfect. Alrighty, for the next step, you want to make sure that your ink has had a chance to dry. That's going to be really important, and sometimes that archival takes a little bit longer to dry. I went ahead and hit mine with the heat tool. So if you saw on my original box, I did a little bit of embossing here around the word wow. And it's so nice because it really helps tie in these embossed polka dots on the box. So we're going to do some embossing on this piece as well. So I'm going to bring in my powder tool, and I'm just going to put some powder here, and this is going to help make sure that I only get embossing powder to stick in the areas that I want it to when I stamp. So I'm just going to lay down some scrap paper here. I've got my Versamark ink pad, and I'm going to stamp the little image that looks like little stars. Well, that's what I think they look like, little stars. So I thought that was perfect for the shine sentiment here. So I'm just going to ink that up in my Versamark ink. Be careful not to get it on the edges of your stamp because that will then transfer onto your project, and you don't want that. So let's see. Stamp here. Gonna stamp here, and then one more down here at the bottom, right about there. Alrighty. So now I'm bringing in my Stampin' Emboss powder in gold. I'm just going to pour this right over the top here. Okay, that should be enough. Just tap off the extra, give it a little flick. All right, so I've got my Stampin' Up! Heat tool here. I love this. It's got a protective cover around the metal tip to keep your hand safe from that hot area. And then it's got 2 settings. So we're gonna use the second setting, which is the hottest. So I'm just gonna let it warm up, and then I'm going to heat set my embossing. Okay, and so hopefully you can now see we've got that beautiful gold embossing. I love that. So cool. I have got my magnetic platform here. I've got one cutting plate. I'm going to go ahead and lay down my shine right here. And then I've got a scrap piece of basic black cardstock. Let me move this over so you guys can see. I've got some basic black cardstock here, and I'm going to be using one of these scallop circle framelits from the Layering Circle dies for the basic black piece. And then I've got one of our stitched circle framelits, stitched shapes circle framelits to go right here around the shine. So I'm just going to line that up. And I think that looks good. And we will crank this through the Big Shot. All right, so we've got our two die cut pieces. So we can go ahead and adhere these together. So I'm just gonna turn this over. I'm gonna use fast fuse, and I am gonna be generous because the heat embossing does sort of warp the cardstock just a little bit, so I want to be sure that it lays down pretty flat here on my scallop circle. So just center that up. Okay, that looks good. And then give it a good press. Let's see. Looks good. I love the basic black behind there with the gold. Looks so pretty. All right, so now we can turn this over, and I'm going to add 5 dimensionals to the back. So let's see, put 1 in the center, 2 at the top, and then I'll do 2 at the bottom. Take off my backings. And we will just add this on to the front of our box in the center. And there is our finished box, and you've got that beautiful embossing on the paper and on the sentiment. I love this. So I'm just gonna bring in the original box. So like I said, this one stores all of my tools, but I discovered that something else fits perfectly in this box. So let me show you. So do you perhaps want a nice, cute way to store your re-inkers? Well, guess what? They fit perfectly in this box. And look how many you can fit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can fit 8 re-inkers in this box. Isn't that so awesome? I actually discovered this by accident. You know, I designed the box to fit these supplies, and then afterwards I thought, I wonder what else might fit in here. So I just started grabbing things from my desk, trying to see what else I could fit. 8 re-inkers. So that's pretty cool. You could actually color code your boxes. So let's say you wanted a box that stored all of your reds and pinks. You know, you could use red or pink designer series paper that has those colors in there so that you could color code how you store all of your re-inkers. I just thought that would be such a cool idea, and it just looks so nice, these nice little boxes. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial. I had so much fun designing this box. All of the supplies that I used for today's project is over on my coordinating blog post, which is linked just below this video in the description notes. I also have all of the measurements over there. So thank you guys so much, and I hope that you have a fabulous, fabulous day. Bye now.